Hello, WhatCulture, and welcome to another episode of Ups and Downs for Monday Night Raw. Can you believe it? The weeks keep ticking away and we keep going through WWE's flagship programming and giving all the good bits an up and giving all the bad bits a down. And we do little jigs like that because that's just the type of guy I am. My name is Simnon Miller. Let's not stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. Let's up some downs. While Raw does have a tendency to start exactly the same each week, I do like it when they take someone else and put them in that role. So Elias kicking off Raw, getting it up. It wasn't overly exciting. He rocked out for a while, quite literally. Then he ran down Seth Rollins and said at Money in the Bank he was coming to take his Intercontinental title. He basically just played a heel, but he's a pretty good heel. That, of course, summoned Rollins from the back, and he came down to the ring with a chair. And then there was this weird moment where Elias had his guitar, Rollins had his chair, and they had a weapons off, if that makes sense. It was dumb. However, Rollins managed to get the guitar out of Elias's hands, and just as he's about to strike him in the face, Jinder Mahal ran out and he attacked Elias from behind. And only cowards do that. Only cowards attack people from behind. Isn't that right, Drake? Anyway, moving on, this was done for two reasons. One, so that Roman Reigns could make his triumphant return to Raw and beat up Jinder Mahal and save Seth Rollins. And two, so we could make a tag team match between these pairs. Now that is going to get it down because WWE has done that so much recently, and they've done it so much that I picked up on this straight away and my brain went, don't they do this all the time now? And they do, hence why I just gave it a down. As for the match itself though, well, that can get an up. It wasn't the smoothest bout you've ever seen, but I thought it was decent enough, and of course the story revolved around the fact that Sunil Singh kept trying to be a distraction. He was buzzing around the place like a fly. Eventually though, a chair was introduced into the mix. Elias took advantage of that. He DDT'd Slamamo Seth Rollins onto said chair, hit the drift away. 1, 2, 3. Elias wins, and you know what that means? He's losing at Money in the Bank. This was fine though, it was what you'd expect, and that's fine. Now, I genuinely have absolutely no idea what happened next though, hence why it's gonna get it down. Now, it started with Curt Hawkins, and that's alright because I like Curt Hawkins. In fact, I like him so much, if you want to go and send him a tweet saying, Simon Miller really likes you, you can. I think that man is underused, and on this night, he was trying to break his losing streak, which apparently, if he lost one more, would be up to 200. Now, I think that's like Goldberg numbers here, where WWE just made a load up, but who cares? It tied into the narrative. But then it got weird because for one, he was surrounded by tacos, and maybe I missed something. I mean, I did get slammed in the head but a week ago, so maybe my brain just didn't pick up on it. But then he also fought some jobber, and the jobber won because Baron Corbin came out, gave said jobber the end of days, which means Curt Hawkins lost via DQ. And then Baron hurled Hawkins into the tacos. What is this? And it got worse because then we cut to backstage and Baron Corbin was with Kurt Angle and he said, hey, I only did this because I don't get any opportunities, and I told Stephanie McMahon this and she's made me the Constable of Raw. What the hell is the Constable of Raw? It's like he's 12 years old and he's playing dress up. I must have been knocked more loopy than I thought because all of this was bonkers. All this Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax stuff then got weirder and weirder, and yeah, the official hashtag of this episode of Ups and Downs is weird. But this was weird down. And it started all right because Ronda was on commentary as her friend Natty took on Nia Jax. They had a match. Eventually Jax won after a Samoan drop. However, then there was some hoo-ha as if Natty Neidhart had hurt her leg, and while Ronda Rousey got into the ring to help her buddy, Nia Jax also seemed concerned. Now yeah, look, I get that I could be reading into this, but if it is a work, then you've got to work it and you're the bad guy, so pretend you're upset. And if it was legit and you accidentally hurt her, still, you don't all of a sudden break character because now I'm like, Nia Jax, you heel or are you face? Now I have a theory for all of this, and I'm going to get to that later in the appropriate segment, but when I was watching this live, I was like, I'm going to explode. Look, my words just went nuts because it made no sense. If nothing else, it didn't help this feud at all, and really, I hope Ronda Rousey beats Nia Jax at Money in the Bank in about 39 seconds. But another down because then we had a Bobby Roode promo and he was showing fire and he was showing determination and he was telling us how much he wanted to win Money in the Bank, and then he had a match with Braun Strowman and he lost in about 4 minutes. Down. And up though for the match because at one point Strowman ran through a ladder and destroyed it like it was nothing, and I love it when Braun does stuff like that. I will say this, however, does it not feel like Braun Strowman, who at one point was the most over guy of the company, has kind of veered off path just a little bit? Here's hoping he actually wins the briefcase and flies back up the mountain. He did win after his running power slam, and that was that. Braun wins. Bobby Roode loses. Again. Kevin Owens then cut a really good promo because of course he did. That's what Kevin Owens does. He ran down everybody in the Money in the Bank match, said that Finn Balor was nothing more than a made-up Irish myth because they're having a match later, and said he was going to climb that ladder and win Money in the Bank. You know what? Kinda hope he does. Up. Right, back to the Nia thing. Just when you think it couldn't get any stranger, we did indeed go backstage once more, and there was Natty, and she was getting her knee iced up, and Ronda Rousey there, she was all upset like, oh no, what's happened? But you know who else was there looking upset? That's right, Nia Jax. Now, like I hinted at earlier, I believe I may have figured out what's gonna happen. I think that this is all a ruse between Nia Jax and Natty Neidhart, and at the pay-per-view, Natty is going to screw Ronda, and this is just some, red herring. So we're supposed to think, oh, Ronda and Natty are really good friends, but also Nia Jax and Natty are really good friends. That makes no sense. But here's the thing. If you're trying to do a ruse, if you're trying to trick someone, you trick them wholeheartedly, and you don't have these weird little teasers in between. That's not how storytelling works. And the main reason for that is because it leaves us going, well, is Nia Jax a heel? Or is Nia Jax a face? Which is the second time I've asked that in this video. That doesn't work. But yeah, this happened. There's my prediction. If I get it right, I expect to be showered with praise and flowers and chocolates. Either way though, down. A nuts promo between the Deleters of Worlds followed, and you know what? WWE simply doesn't do enough with Woke and Matt Hardy, because when he's allowed to talk like this, I laugh and I'm entertained. But the basic message here was, whoever does win the #1 contendership battle royal that's going to happen in a second, well, it don't matter, because Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are going to kick their ass. Getting up. And it's another up because guess who did win this #1 tag team title contender battle royal? That's right, Repo Man. Wasn't Repo Man. I'm doing that thing again, but it was the B team, and last week I said I wanted them to win, and they did. Up. The only real story here was this. When Dolph Ziggler got eliminated, Drew McIntyre was really annoyed because they went out super early on, so maybe they've started to tease the breakup between these two. I mean, it may just be teased for now, just a little sprinkling of what's going to happen, but I did take something away from that. It was like, oh, maybe Drew about to go on his big singles run. They did lay out Bo Dallas with their finisher before they left the ringside area, and really all you need to know about this is the last two teams were Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, Heath Slater, and Rhino, and by accident, the B team won and then celebrated as if they just won the lottery. It was so good though, because they're goofs, and they play goofs so well, and I just love goofs. So yeah, I can't even remember I said it now, but all of this gets an up. I did say it, but I'm saying it again, that's how much I was entertained by it. We then had a nothing segment between Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn, and I almost mean that literally. I don't really think anything happened. Down. It started off with Bobby Lashley in the ring, and eventually he called out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn did arrive, but he didn't want to come to the ring because he didn't want to get beaten up by Bobby Lashley, and obviously that's been happening a lot recently. It was at this point I realised I've got no real idea of what has taken place in the past, because I just don't really care. I mean, I remember when all those dudes dressed up in drag, but I do not remember that for the right reasons. Sami then called Bobby Lashley a liar and even questioned if he was ever actually in the army. Bobby got mad, he took off his jacket, Lashley's music played, and that was the end of it. I swear I missed something this week, or I've gone crazy upstairs, because this don't make no sense to me. I'm probably in the minority here, but then we had some back and forth promo stuff between Roman Reigns and Jinder Mahal. I actually kind of dug it. Up. The interviews themselves just went exactly how you think they would have gone, because they kept cutting back and forth between the two. Eventually at one point, Jinder Mahal was like, oh yeah, you're gonna say that? Why don't you come beat me up? So Roman Reigns was like, yeah, I will come beat you up. And he did. He found him, he kicked his ass, officials broke it up. Thought it was a nice little bit. It felt different, and right now, that's what I'm getting to. WWE, if you keep doing different stuff, you're gonna let me buy into it more, because it gets me excited. I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen? But oh my gosh, then everything went downhill. I mean, everything in my life, my world, my brain, my heart, my soul went downhill. What came next is getting it down. Now I swear I have lost it, because we got a 6-women's tag match between the Riot Squad, and they were going against Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, and Ember Moon. Now straight away I'm confused, because I am a wrestling nerd, because why on earth would Sasha Banks and Ember Moon team with Alexa Bliss when Alexa Bliss has done nothing but run down the entire women's division since day one? She's a bad guy, they're good guys, why are they teaming up? Before long, Bliss was taken out of the match though, meaning they were down to just 2. Riot Squad took advantage of that, they started beating up on the pair, but then Bayley came out, she got the tag, she hit the Bayley to belly on Sarah Logan, and the ref counted 1, 2, 3, and they won! She wasn't even in the damn thing. Now thankfully, there was a bit of an argument about this afterward. The Riot Squad were all like, what is that nonsense? And that's good, because this is the kind of stuff that WCW used to do. However, in WCW, no one would have ever mentioned that Bayley wasn't in the match, and would have just gone, huh, they won. And really, yeah, the only person to look like the moron here was the referee. But then we cut to the backstage area and the constable, somebody please kill me, was saying to Kurt Angle, are you going to let that stand? That doesn't seem very fair, to which Kurt Angle said, no, you're right, let's go and sort it out. He went and found the baby faces where they're all celebrating, said, look, you have to be DQ'd. Bayley wasn't in the match, and then instantly, Sasha Banks then hated Bayley again, even though they were about to hug beforehand. This is the weirdest, the longest feud ever that never actually happens because nobody pulls the trigger. I love everybody in WWE, truly I do. I think they're all superstars, both figuratively and literally. This was bad. And then the Big Show just turned back up on Raw from nowhere. However, this was okay because he was there to promote everything to do with the American Special Olympics, and that was good. And then Finn Balor came out to celebrate with them all as well. This was just a nice moment, really. I like nice moments. Balor then also had a match with Kevin Owens. Getting up. This match was really good between two super professionals that know what they're doing, apart from the finish, because one, Kevin Owens went and got himself DQ'd because he was stomping Finn Balor in the corner and he refused to stop, even though the ref was like, do you want to stop? And he said no. And no match has ever finished like this. And two, it was another disqualification. How many disqualifications are we going to do on television, WWE? KO continued his beatdown after the match and even teased a KO off the ladder, and Finn Balor reversed that, and then he hit a coup de grace off said ladder, and man, that has got to hurt loads. He also then climbed it, he got the briefcase and he held it aloft, and you know what that means? He ain't winning it at Money in the Bank. And yeah, that was Raw, and it's only fair to say that some segments were so confusing that I think my mind blew up, as I've already said once or twice. In this episode of Ups and Downs, I was sat there watching stuff happening on the TV, like, I'm lost, I don't know what's going on. However, I am Mr. Positive, I love wrestling, smile on my face. What a great episode of Raw it was. I enjoy watching the wrestling. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. I'll see you soon.
So, thanks for watching. Please feel free to click on any of these things around my head, or something terrible might happen to the dog. Too sweet me, bro. Traitor. Traitor.